All right. Hello and welcome, everyone. So today we are going to be talking about Outriders. Outriders is not out yet, but the demo was recently released, and I have put quite a bit of time into the demo. I've played roughly 8 to 12 hours or so of it, so clearly it's good enough to be worth talking about in what I think of the game so far, and if it's going to be a worthwhile game when it comes out at the beginning of April. So first and foremost, what is Outriders? Outriders is a third-person shooter, power-focused looter shooter. So very similar to, a Borderlands, a Warframe, a Diablo, like that kind of feeling game, but also it's made by a lot of the people that worked on the original Gears of War, so it has some of the elements from Gears as well. But what they're going for is a much more fast-paced, like in-your-face kind of version of that, where there is cover in the environments, but it's not just going to be a attrition back and forth of you hide behind cover, shoot one guy, regen health in cover, etc., etc. They have a lot of mechanics in the game to force you to really just get in there and start murdering enemies. That is really nice. For that, there are 4 starting classes. So if we go in real quick and just like spam a new character out, we can, because we've already completed the tutorial, we can go ahead and skip it, and we can see all of the classes that we can play. We have the Technomancer. This is probably the closer one to like more of a Gears of War style battling strategy, because this is long range with support type abilities and gadgets. You get like a big mortar that you can summon and stuff like that, and we'll show what this class can do as I've played them a little bit. The Pyromancer, pretty self-explanatory. You're going to light all these motherfuckers on fire, turn people into explosive bombs, and just do all that good stuff. Trickster is kind of a tank slash evasion assassin, kind of interesting mix of a lot of different elements. This is probably my second favorite class, just right behind the Devastator. The Devastator, hard tank, just made of rock, very Rhino-esque in a lot of ways, but also a lot of what I would like to see out of Atlas, for those of you that are watching this that have played Warframe, which is probably most of you. Just lots of really large AoE attacks, lots of healing, very, very hard to die type stuff going on here. And all these classes are pretty fundamentally different in how they play, and that becomes really, really apparent upon even just playing through the demo content. And part of that is due to these base abilities that are identified right here whenever you're choosing your class. Devastators recover health from slain enemies that stand too close to them. So in close range, if an enemy dies, you will recover health, even if your allies are the ones killing them, which of course purports towards your tanking role. The Trickster, each enemy killed in close range heals you and grants shields, so you have shields as a way to offset like the less tankiness you'll have than the Devastator. You get some shields added to that, as these two are the close range classes. And then for Pyromancer, you recover health when enemies marked with skills are killed, which is a little bit more restrictive, and I found this class earlier on, before I had some armor skills and stuff, had a harder time staying alive just due to them needing to use their abilities, which do have a cooldown in order to keep themselves topped off at full health. But once I got later into it and got some abilities like Skill Leech, which heals me just from the skills being cast, period, it was a lot more survivable. And then the Technomancer heals from all damage dealt, but they heal a lower amount than pretty much any of the other classes, unless they're doing a tremendous amount of damage. So it's a long-range DPS class that is going to get big bursts of healing whenever you're firing off your really impactful skills. And this was really interesting. I know there are some builds for this class that I have not experienced because I don't have the correct armor pieces and stuff that I would need to try them out, but seems cool. They all kind of offer something different, and that's a really good start. So we're going to select this and then go back to the main screen here. Just change characters. So basically, just to go into one of these characters, we'll go into the Trickster. These characters have not only like just basic, they of course have the basic differences of like how they heal, but also they are entirely their own classes unto themselves. And we'll show that with just kind of all of the different kind of equipment screens that are going to be a thing in the full game. So, whenever we get into here, we have our inventory. There are rares and commons and uncommons. That's basically the most part for what we're dealing with in the demo. So I'm fully equipped with rares here because I have played the Trickster enough to have kind of a build going on. And we have this stuff that will interact with our basic skills. So for the Trickster in the demo, we get half of their available skills. So we have Twisted Rounds, Temporal Blade, and Slow Trap. Slow Trap is like, what if Loki's 4 was really, really good? Because this is a bubble that can be shot into. You can stand in it. It's very, very survivable. It's a way to stun enemies. Lots of usefulness here. Temporal Blade. This is basically just a large AoE in front of you that blows up basic enemies. Building for this, you can blow up even some of the tougher, tankier dudes. Then Twisted Rounds is a magazine augmentation that refills your magazine whenever you cast it, and then gives you a considerable firepower increase for the magazine. Then we also have Hunt the Prey, which I'm not currently using, but has been pretty good in spots where you literally just teleport and get a shield, and you can get in close range for some shotgun action very, very easily. So that's the baseline of what we're dealing with on Trickster here. And that stuff is modified by the equipment that you're wearing. So this is the part where this game kind of immediately, once you start getting rares, you start kind of getting a build, which even in the demo, I found to be quite nice. So on the helmet, we have Strong Twist, which is whenever the skill is active, it increases the weapon's firepower by an additional 15%, so Twisted Rounds is going to be stronger. Additional magazine for Twisted Rounds, which makes it so that instead of only lasting for one magazine, it lasts for two, which in combination with a double gun, which has a 60 clip size, getting that twice is really, really powerful, especially with the other ability that's on this, which is the Clip of Amalthea, which whenever I'm getting headshots, I have a 20% chance to not use the ammo, which makes the clip last even longer. And then we have other abilities in here like Slasher, which gives Temporal Blade a second activation, which does not increase the cooldown or anything of that nature. We can just use it twice before it cools down now, which is super helpful. And then we have Healing Slice, which is for a skill I actually don't have that's not available in the demo on this ability. So I've been looking for other gloves, but I don't have any good rares. And then on our last one, we have Slow Trap for Weakening Zone, which is enemies entering the sphere are afflicted with weakness, which means they will do even considerably more or less damage to me. With that, it is worth noting that on these pieces of armor, you'll see above the skill effect that they have bonus firepower on these bottom two pieces, max health, anomaly power, and then max health again up here. Those stats actually considerably matter. You can see that pretty immediately by just looking at the pants. Max health increased by 47. I have 258 health, as you can see up here. So 47 is a considerable amount of my HP. Just the two pieces of HP that I have are giving me a huge boost in the amount of survivability I'm going to have just kind of as a baseline. And then, of course, the armor values help with that, but those are a bit more static and just based on the general power of the piece. Along with that, if you look at the amounts of firepower that I'm getting, it is also rather considerable because I have 361 firepower, but I am getting 67 of that from my gloves and boots. So I would not even be over 300 without the bonuses I'm getting from my gear. So that stuff actually factors in and matters pretty considerably with how fast I'm going to be able to take down certain different kinds of enemies. On top of that, obviously, as you saw, the guns have skills on them. We get two primaries and one secondary weapon. So we have some interesting abilities that can be on secondary weapons. And, well, you can put these on anything, or they can be on anything. But we have Proliferation, which is shots on enemies inflicted by a status condition. Inflict that status to the nearest enemies, which lets you spread status effects if you're doing status effect things. And that's more relevant for a pyro, but is still a good thing, especially for the Technomancer who has poison. And then we have Weapon Life Leech. So this is going to have inherent healing on it. So if I am in a fight where I'm not going to be killing enemies because the Trickster needs things to die in order to get their health back, having a Life Leech weapon available to me is going to make it much easier for me to keep my health topped off, which is important for kind of boss encounter type stuff. And then this weapon, which is just raw damage and just dumping mags into enemies. That stuff is all cool, and I think it's immediately fairly deep, and these are just the rares. As the rarity goes up, we do know that with like purples and legendaries and stuff, you're actually going to have multiple skills on each different piece. So that is going to immediately make it more complex in trying to get what you want. But with that, we also do know that if you break down an ability like this, like if you break this down, just like right click it and then dismantle it, you'll have that ability and able to craft those abilities together into the gear that you want. So it's going to be, I think, relatively easy to get the skills that you want on your gear. So you can kind of make the loadout that you want to make. On top of that, there is this huge tree. So this huge tree, during the demo, we only have 2 points to spend in here, which I've got close range, weapon damage, 15%, and then armor piercing, 15% is what I've gone with. You can go down any 2 in here, but basically this class screen is where you're kind of focusing your attention, and you can go assassin, harbinger, reaver, like kind of the directions that you can build towards. And these all have skills that are more specific to certain types of abilities or weapon types. So this one is shotgun master. So if I'm planning on using shotguns, of course I want this skill, and I would tend more towards assassin. We do know in the full game you are going to get 20 points to spend in this. So instead of the 2, we're gonna have 18 more. So you'll be able to get to one of like the ends of these with like 7 more, because it takes 13 to get to the end of any different tree, and then you can kind of branch out and get to whatever you need to get to from there. But then that's if you even want like the final skills. But I'd imagine that like these final skills are probably going to be ones that you want, especially something like this, the Altered Executioner. Each enemy in close range anomaly power goes up by 10%. That could be a pretty considerable damage increase that you'd probably want. But yeah, so this is like the class stuff. Really nice thing here is we just have the reset tree, and this is going to be in the full game. You could just reset these points literally at any time. So you could just respec and go a different way at any time. You don't have to build like 3 tricksters to get 1 assassin, 1 harbinger, and 1 reaver. So that seems like that's going to be really nice whenever the full game comes out. And that's just some kind of just general breakdown of how gear things are looking right now. With that, we are going to get into some gameplay stuff. I have in here, we also have our quest map. Oh, I need to grab quest. So quests are repeatable in the demo, and they will be in the full game as well, to my knowledge. But basically, if you have done a quest already, which in this case, I've done Terra Firma, which is the mission for farming in the demo. I've done it quite a bit, but we will show the Trickster a little bit. And then I also have recorded already the Devastator running through a few missions, and also the Technomancer running through Terra Firma. So I'll show that stuff off as well if anybody wants to see how the different classes kind of play. There's fast travel. This is the area of the demo. The demo is like fairly limited in what you have access to. You have access to the full tutorial, and then you have access to I think it's 4 side missions and 3 main missions, I believe it is. So there's a good little chunk there, but it mostly just takes place in this first main zone. And the end of the demo is whenever you would leave this zone and go to like the next zone, essentially. For that, like I said, doesn't make a lot of sense that I would play for 8 to 12 hours if that's kind of all there was. There is a lot of farming to be done, even just in the demo. You can get legendary weapons from Terra Firma. This mission, there is a farm for it that I might as well show in this video. If anyone is curious how to do that. And I've gotten 1 legendary so far, not on my Trickster. It'll be on my Devastator and has some pretty interesting abilities on it. But yeah, just showing off a little bit of the Trickster gameplay. It's a more accurate rifle. So with this, we have our big swipe. You can rest assured that those guys are going to be basically dead. Getting a close range, we can heal off these guys. We have a dodge roll. This enemy does not want to poke out. Come on now. There we go. But yeah, not a big deal to eliminate these guys. Ammo. Chests. Just another green. And then right here, for anyone who's curious what like the farm is in the demo, if you were trying to get any of the legendary weapons, from this checkpoint here, there's a sniper up here. You eliminate the sniper because the snipers have like a decent drop rate for items. And then, as the Trickster anyway, you can do this as any of the classes. This farm is possible as all of them. With the Trickster in particular, though, it is very easy. Especially with a decent weapon, where the captain is the one who's able to drop the legendary. So you kill the captain, and then you kill the sniper. And then you can kill a couple more of the guys if you like really want to. Then this game has a universal looting system. So I can pick up all the enemy's drops from the whole map, and if I die, they also auto pick up, and then it sends me back here on the checkpoint. You totally keep those items, so the fastest way to farm for legendaries is to run this specific mission because the captain is really close to this checkpoint, and kill him and then let yourself die. Obviously, you don't have to do it that way, as there is also a possible legendary drop from the mission rewards, which you're not going to get unless you complete the mission entirely. But generally, I would say it's faster to do the run this way, where you bubble him and then kind of just give him what you got. Blow him up. Also, there's a lot of verticality on that ability. Makes it pretty easy to take these guys down. Also, there is friendly fire on the enemies, so like the grenades and stuff will affect their buds. All right. We got a blue from that. We got some new gloves. I think it was actually the piece I was looking for, wasn't it? This one's a cyclone on it. Ah, we got another cyclone one. This one do though? Reduces incoming weapon damage and anomaly damage by 30%. Okay, give me like DR whenever we get that ability. Sure, fair enough. I don't think I have that skill yet. But yeah, that's this short little side mission. Just as like a show of like what the Trickster is up to. I think in general, because I've farmed quite a bit, I'm a little bit stronger than you'll be generally doing this mission, or at least before you've done it for a little while. And yeah, that's just a general mission as the Trickster. Obviously, the first time I did that mission, I didn't know exactly where everything was, and I wasn't farming the captain and doing all that kind of stuff. So it was considerably harder before, because you go into that mission with armor that's like probably 50 points lower on basically all fronts. Like I have armor that's basically at 200 across the board now, and doing it at like, you know, 250 less armor is going to be much more challenging. You'll have to be a little bit more wily with what you're doing. But yeah, that's kind of what's up with that mission on the Trickster. I am going to show some stuff with the Devastator for anyone who's curious kind of how the Devastator is looking. They're very Rhino-esque, and they seem real good. And then also with the Technomancer. So yeah, that's kind of just a first general look at like what's going on in Outriders. I think that the game has like some good potential in it. I think there's possibly like a real thing here. The story stuff that I've seen so far has been like really basic. Like it's not bad, but it's like funny in spots and like maybe a little bit too serious, and it's like going for like a dark comedy kind of thing in a lot of areas. And it's nothing that's like breaking the mold in any huge way, at least not in the demo, but it's entertaining enough to like keep me, you know, doing the missions and playing the fun gameplay. And I think that's good enough for me personally. The story for me doesn't need to set the world on fire. It just needs to give me an excuse to fight cool enemy. And so far, I think it's been doing that. So yeah, hopefully you guys enjoy the extra run through with the Devastator. The Devastator I'm going to take through to the main boss of the kind of like demo story stuff. And then the Technomancer will be a run of Terra Firma. My Technomancer is on a like much lower power level and like would still need to be farmed and stuff. So that's going to be more of a look at how that mission looks closer to the first time you'd be doing it in terms of gear. So you can see that in maybe a less face rolly light, because the Trickster stuff that I've got set up is pretty solid. But yeah, early look at at Outriders. Game seems promising. I'm definitely going to be playing it on release, and I would encourage you to check that out with me whenever it comes out. I will definitely be doing a review for this game. I think it's going to be kind of hard to avoid, and hopefully it's as good as this demo seems, because I've been having a really good time farming it out. But yeah, hopefully you guys have enjoyed this video, enjoy the gameplay, and I will see you later. Goodbye, everybody.
I'm getting major deja vu in this place. Reminds me of that mission in Damascus, when we rescued those diplomats.
I had to save your ass from that machete-wielding mob.
Ha! More like that time I had to save your sorry ass from that redneck mob storming DC.
Those missions felt like we were fighting for a reason. But this shithole, it's never been worth fighting for.
What's it all about for you then?
Just trying to live another day. Well, we're barely holding on.
Sounds like I chose a good day to wake up then. Jakub, I'm seeing a lot of dead people. They look like they've been sautéed.
Shit. Be careful.
Jakub, I've reached the solar tower. I'm going in.
What are you seeing in there?
Some kind of weird electrical sparks flying everywhere.
Means you're getting close. This altar, did I not mention? He's a goddamn electro freak.
You mean he lights up light bulbs?
More like flash frying everything for a mile. Look, I know you've always been able to handle yourself, but this son of a bitch is on a whole other level.
As of recently, so am I.
And so, Outrider, you've had your first kill. We Alter do not die so easily, do we?
Seth.
Come. We must speak.
Can't survive this.
I don't need your doubts. I need him alive.